it was when I took that ownership where I got to figure some of this stuff out for myself and really start managing and figuring out money that like everything shifted. And yeah, that was in 2016. And since then, now I'm a multimillionaire, a paid off house. So I always tell people like in less than 10 years, in less than a decade, and on a single income. And I didn't have a business built up back then. So believe me, it was mostly U2 income. It wasn't based on building a business. It's entirely possible that whole decade of focusing on my money has paid off where I can live an entirely different life now. And like I tell people, I did it on one income. I wasn't married. I was divorced and single almost that entire time. I didn't build it off business income. It was just intentionality, focus. It was steady, consistent actions. I definitely wasn't perfect by any means. I've made a lot of money mistakes, but it was doing mostly good things most of the time. That's what I tell people. Not about perfection, not like I made huge lump sum big investments and all that. But no, it was just learning about it. And I think really for me, the big thing was finally taking ownership where I wasn't outsourcing my financial education and literacy to someone else or somebody else anymore. I'm someone who used to spend on credit cards. I used to charge things up on credit cards, and now I'm someone who doesn't. I had that transformation and shifted where one big thing I used to do was I would always charge the vacations. I would justify not really the daily purchases and my bills, but I would justify paying for vacations on credit cards. And I remember the last vacation I paid for on credit card was Disney World, and never again, because, for like that week of, you ball out, you go to all the parks and spend all that money and all that. And of course, it's that guilt, that mom guilt. You got to, create memories, and you can't go to Disney World too late or your kid will not, I don't know, they'll be deprived. Or that's probably not true. So I had that guilt where I need to do it by a certain age because my son will remember and we're going to create these memories. And just thinking about how much I spent and how long it took to pay that off with like close to 30% interest. And now I'm a person that I'll only pay for vacations and travel if I have the cash up front and I pay everything in full. You come back from the vacation, it feels good. There's no bills, no credit card statements coming after the vacation. That was a huge shift for me. And doing those types of things was my own journey. And I remember another belief that I used to have was I used to think car payments were okay. And that took me a long time to wrap my head around about cars being a depreciating asset and all that. Now I've finally got to the point where I'll buy cars in cash.
Because I'm at the point, well, I'll still finance one, but I'll still try to make it like I'm able to pay it off within 3 years.
But I remember that was one thing that really I kind of disagreed with when I started learning personal finance stuff. Like, why not? If you can handle a car payment, why not make it? Until I started having that analogy of you're throwing money out the car window every time you're driving. I'm like, oh, now it makes more sense.
Yeah.
It's going down in value all the time.
So because you talk about throwing money away, and a lot of people say, okay, well, I'm not at $1 million yet. Probably got some debt. What was the one thing that kind of helped you like catapult yourself to that $1 million? Not so much so to the $1 million mindset, but also to have your first million.